Silence is not a void. It is a powerful tool that teaches you how to control your mind, your emotions, and your energy. When you choose to stay silent, you are making a conscious decision to pause, to reflect, and to understand yourself more deeply. Most people mistake silence for weakness, but the truth is, it takes immense courage to stop reacting impulsively to every situation, to every opinion, to every criticism. Silence allows you to step back from the chaos of life and observe, rather than participate in unnecessary drama. It teaches you patience, it teaches you restraint, and most importantly, it teaches you self-respect. When you are silent, you are protecting your inner world from the noise of judgment, from the chaos of gossip, from the distractions that keep you from focusing on what truly matters. You begin to understand that not everything requires your voice, not every argument needs your energy, and not every opinion deserves your attention. In silence, you develop clarity. Your mind becomes sharper, your heart becomes calmer, and your decisions become wiser. You realize that reacting hastily often leads to regret, whereas pausing and reflecting opens doors to understanding and growth. Silence becomes your teacher, guiding you to respond rather than react, to observe rather than interfere, and to value your own peace over temporary validation. It shows you that your energy is precious, and that conserving it allows you to invest in the things that truly elevate your life. Through silence, you learn the art of discernment, the strength of restraint, and the quiet power that lies in listening to yourself. Because in that listening, you discover who you really are, and that awareness is far more powerful than any words you could ever speak. Focusing on yourself is not selfish. It is the most essential form of self-education you can ever undertake. When you shift your attention inward, you start noticing patterns in your thoughts, behaviors, and habits that were holding you back. Every moment you spend reflecting on yourself becomes a lesson in growth, because you begin to understand your strengths, your weaknesses, and the areas where you have been settling for less than you deserve. It is easy to get caught up in trying to please everyone, in reacting to the world's expectations. But when you choose to focus on yourself, you reclaim your power. You start prioritizing your dreams, your goals, and your values over the endless noise of opinions and distractions around you. This is where real transformation begins. Focusing on yourself teaches you discipline. It teaches you how to manage your time, your energy, and your priorities with purpose. You learn to invest in things that truly matter, whether it is knowledge, skills, relationships that uplift you, or moments that nourish your soul. It also teaches resilience, because as you focus inward, you realize that the world will not always validate you, and that is okay. Your worth is not measured by external approval. You learn to trust yourself, to listen to your intuition, and to make choices that align with your growth rather than your fear. Every step you take in understanding yourself better is a step towards independence, clarity, and confidence. Focusing on yourself allows you to become the architect of your own life, building a foundation that no storm can shake, and creating a version of yourself that reflects the highest standard of who you are meant to be. When you choose to stay silent and focus on yourself, you are protecting your dreams from the distractions and negativity that constantly surround you. The world is full of opinions, advice, judgments, and noise, and if you allow yourself to be pulled in every direction, you will lose sight of your purpose. Silence becomes your shield. It guards the fragile ideas, the ambitious goals, and the quiet plans that are just beginning to take shape. When you stay quiet, you are saying no to unnecessary arguments, no to people who drain your energy, and no to comparisons that weaken your confidence. You learn that not every comment deserves a reaction, not every situation demands an explanation, and not every criticism deserves attention. Protecting your dreams is not about being distant or unapproachable. It is about prioritizing what truly matters, about investing your time and energy in actions rather than words. Silence gives you the space to focus on progress instead of approval, to cultivate skills instead of arguments, and to nurture growth instead of gossip. In this quiet, uninterrupted space. Your ideas become sharper, your plans become clearer, and your focus becomes unstoppable. You start to notice the small details that make a difference, the patterns that lead to breakthroughs, and the discipline that builds momentum. You realize that the loudest people in the room are not always the most productive, and that true success often happens behind the scenes, quietly, without announcements or distractions. Every moment you dedicate to your dreams without reacting to the noise is a step closer to turning your vision into reality. And the more you protect your inner focus, the stronger and more resilient you become. When you focus inward, you are giving yourself the chance to develop resilience that cannot be taught in a classroom or learned from a book. Life will always throw challenges your way. People will disappoint you. Circumstances will test your patience. But when you have built a strong connection with yourself, you face every storm with calmness and courage. Emotional intelligence is born from self-awareness, from taking the time to understand your own reactions, triggers, and patterns. When you stay silent and observe your emotions instead of reacting impulsively, you begin to control your energy rather than letting it control you. Self-respect grows when you prioritize your own growth over the need for approval. When you set boundaries that protect your peace, and when you refuse to participate in conflicts that do not serve your purpose. Focusing on yourself is like watering a seed. At first it may feel slow, invisible, even uncomfortable, but over time it grows into strength, confidence, and unwavering clarity. You start noticing that your reactions are no longer dictated by others, that your decisions are rooted in your values rather than fear or expectation, and that your life begins to reflect the standards you set for yourself. This inward focus teaches you patience, perseverance, and the power of consistency. You understand that not everyone will appreciate your journey, that not everyone will understand your silence, but that does not matter, because the most important relationship you have is with yourself. Your growth becomes unstoppable when you stop seeking validation externally and start cultivating it internally, because a strong, resilient self is capable of handling any situation, any challenge, and any person that life places in your path. Not everything in life requires a reaction, and learning this truth is one of the most powerful lessons you can ever teach yourself. When you realize that every comment, every criticism, and every challenge does not demand your immediate response, you begin to reclaim your energy and your peace. The world will always try to provoke you, to pull you into arguments, to push buttons, but your silence becomes your armor. Choosing not to react is not about being passive or indifferent. It is about being wise, about understanding that your time, your energy, and our focus are far too valuable to be wasted on things that do not serve your growth. When you stop reacting to every situation, you begin to observe clearly, to see patterns, to understand intentions, and to respond with thoughtfulness rather than emotion. This teaches you patience, because you learn to wait before answering, to reflect before responding, and to act only when it aligns with your purpose. You start noticing that reacting hastily often escalates conflicts, drains your energy, and clouds your judgment, whereas staying calm and silent allows clarity to emerge, solutions to appear, and peace to remain intact. Silence gives you the power to choose your battles, to walk away from unnecessary disputes, and to focus on the things that truly matter. It teaches you discernment, because you no longer feel compelled to justify yourself to everyone or explain every decision. You understand that your actions, your progress, and your character speak louder than any words could. The world may misinterpret your silence as weakness, but in truth, it is the ultimate strength, the quiet confidence of someone who knows their worth, who values their peace, and who is committed to living intentionally rather than reacting impulsively to the noise around them. Your growth becomes louder than your words when you commit fully to your own journey, because actions always carry more weight than explanations. The world will often demand to see proof, to hear reasons, to witness drama, but true progress does not need an audience. When you focus on yourself quietly, you allow your efforts, your discipline, and your consistency to speak on your behalf. Every small step you take toward your goals, every habit you build, every skill you cultivate adds up, and eventually, the results become undeniable. Silence in this process is not emptiness, it is strategy. It allows you to protect your energy, avoid unnecessary distractions, and remain fully present in your own growth. People may doubt you, criticize you, or even try to undermine your progress, but your commitment to yourself becomes a force that cannot be shaken. You begin to realize that validation from others is temporary and fragile, but the inner satisfaction of seeing your own evolution is permanent and empowering. By staying silent and letting your actions do the talking, you cultivate patience, resilience, and unwavering confidence. You stop seeking approval from those who do not understand your vision, and instead, you invest in building a life that reflects your values and your ambitions. The quiet consistency of your efforts teaches you humility, discipline, and focus because you are no longer distracted by who notices or who applauds. Eventually, your results will speak so loudly that no explanation, no argument, and no doubt from anyone can overshadow the evidence of your growth. People will see it, feel it, and respect it without you having to utter a single word. Because the power of silent progress is unmatched, and the impact of someone who quietly rises while others talk is far more profound than anything words could ever convey.